This harsh winter, Europe will not tolerate the cold. You will crawl to him humbly after he lined up in General Winter's army, for there is no gas, you do not have the fire burning in your stoves. This is what the Russian President Vladimir Putin used to do, and he warned the old continent of it several times. Stay with us to know how winter betrayed Putin and how Europe overcame the energy crisis. Do not forget your support will meet after the intro. With the With the onset of winter, the cow came as if it were an alliance with the Russian bear, and temperatures dropped below travel in many parts of Europe. Gas prices soared, breaking records that have not occurred in history. 1 week before the beginning of 2023, and he was led by the cold, giving birth to a vacuum. So the snow of the general of winter melted, and that he hoped for what the Europeans hid in their gas tanks to happen in Europe, what he did not expect. More optimistic about the weather and his discontented mood in the European winter. And when unusually warm weather sets in, it leads to a decrease in the demand for heating, so that natural gas prices in Europe head to successive declines and successive weekly losses in its prices, which was the 5th largest, and after gas prices reached record levels at 343 euros per megawatt hour. In August of last year, it has now declined to about 73 euros per megawatt hour, with moderate temperatures likely to continue through most of the winter, and warmer weather forecasts. An average in France and Germany did not give a signal to start leaving Europe out of the shell of inflation. The high energy costs were the main driver for it. However, an unexpected decrease in demand for gas and energy led to an alleviation of the burden on consumers and raised optimism among European governments. The situation is shifting from record prices for gas and energy, and fears in every country that European governments will resort to the energy consumption report, in solidarity with the paralysis of many sectors and industries, and fears that the cold that will affect the Europeans may turn them into refugees, that the general of winter came merciful and moderate and a gift to Europe to help it keep stocks at safe levels. And after Europe was afraid of a severe energy crisis after the cessation of Russian gas supplies on Ukrainian war background, the rush of prices to rise to insane levels in 2022, it seems that the scheme of the Europeans, which secured filling the tanks by 83%, succeeded in achieving a rate higher than the average in the same period in the past 5 years. Even some European countries sent quantities to store in recent days, despite the decline in demand for gas, and in view of the major economies in Europe. For example, France succeeded by filling its tanks by more than 90%. Despite this, its president, Emmanuel Macron, came out talking about the possibility of rationing electricity and power outages in some winter times. But the drop in gas prices and the merciful winter with its cold did not reach France to this extent. In Germany, the largest economy in Europe, the level of gas storage is approximately 91%. And Berlin has already started importing gas directly for the first time from America after launching a floating station to receive gas carriers. What happened to the head of the Gas Network Regulatory Authority? In Germany, Klaus Müller, saying, "We are very optimistic," which we did not really expect in the fall, confirms that Putin's bet on bringing Europe to heel with gas during the winter loser, with indications confirming that the lack of gas this winter in the continent is unlikely. Neither the demonstrations in Europe that went out to denounce the living situation got out of control, nor did the supporting movements. Putin inside Europe is now able to play roles in overturning public opinion, especially in Germany, which bet Moscow on the signs of its descent on the old continent due to the lack of energy. However, Russia's movement within Europe and Germany in particular, it is still going on after the failure of the energy war, especially with the revelation of a new report on Russian interventions in Germany that reached the level of supporting a coup attempt with the aim of pressuring it to change positions in the Ukraine war. Reports published by an international news agency spoke of direct Russian support for personalities. Protests are running in Germany in support of Russia against Berlin's alignment with Kiev. which prompted Germany to open a second investigation. Just weeks after an investigation, after the failure of a coup attempt by an extremist group, it made plans to install a king and a new government. But this plan was not Russia's last attempt to split Germany from Europe, but it also extended to social networking sites. The platforms witnessed calls to put pressure on the German government to change its policies, and with the expansion of the German authorities in the investigations, the identity of the main figure involved in pushing a supportive position inside Germany since the beginning of the war was identified. According to media reports, the tasks of the coup leaders in Germany were to build an online audience, especially on social media, publish pro-Russian news, and manage no less than 7 channels that constantly reshare pro-Russian messages before publishing them. And it reached a common audience of about 1.5 million subscribers. The media also reported similar Russian activities inside other European countries with the aim of stirring up European public opinion as against the governments of her country that support Ukraine. Will Putin succeed in turning the world around in Europe through a coup d'etat after the energy war did not bear fruit in the decline in Europeans' living conditions, and push them to rise up against the authorities in their country?